Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters,
This is a journey into sound.
The fattest, funkiest tunes in town.
All right, y'all. Good morning. How's everybody feeling? And also, welcome to the Stockhouse U Morning Show, where today we chose violence, and we're going to continue to choose violence because the market is looking green, and I'm ready to cash in on all of this hard-earned fucking due diligence I've been doing. I'm ready to buy the dip. I'm ready. I'm fucking excited, and I'm happy to see everybody on stage. So, good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning, Elaine.
Good morning, Liv.
Good morning, Elaine, and everyone else.
Good morning, Christopher.
Good morning, everybody.
Yo, this man's blowing up our group chat like at 1 o'clock in the morning, my time to talk about KMPH. But
Oh, I've been telling y'all since $4. You're gonna hear my mouth today.
Yo, man, let your nuts hang. Fuck it, we're doing it like that today. Good morning, Fly.
Good morning, everybody.
And also Shivam, welcome to the stage, man. Good morning. You hanging out with us all day today, huh?
Good morning, Elaine. Yep. I am psyched after KMP. Shout out to Chris and Christopher, both of them.
Hey, shout outs to Christopher. Hey, this man stays hidden. So you guys know how it goes. First thing of the day, we like to just do some quotes, give everybody a second to get into the day. And so today I have another quote from a gentleman named Charlie Munger. And this is what he did during a USC law commencement speech. And it goes like this. Another thing, of course, is that life will have terrible blows in it. Horrible blows. Unfair blows. It doesn't matter. And some people recover and others don't. And there I think the attitude of Epictetus, is the best. He thought that every mischance in life was an opportunity to behave well. Every mischance in life was an opportunity to learn something. And that your duty was not to be submerged in self-pity, but to utilize the terrible blow in constructive fashion. That is a very good idea, right? We've been sitting in this very shaky market, and I think a lot of us, myself included, have had a chance to implement and test new, different strategies dealing with the level of volatility that we've been having. And it's been great. Some of these strategies are really turning out really, really well. I think that all of us, as this goes on, are just going to become better traders who are more seasoned and able to deal with the environment of a changing market. So there has been some rough days. There have been some amazing green days, but more than anything, I think there have been some chances and opportunities to grow as traders, and that's the real goal. So I'm into it. Who else has a quote for us?
I'm ready, but go ahead, Liv.
Yeah, so I had one from yesterday at the yoga session I was at, and this guy told me, so if you wake up every morning and you're not being defined by a bigger version of yourself, if you don't see a bigger picture, if your vision does not align with where you need to be in the future, then you're going to wake up the exact same way you woke up yesterday and do the exact same things and produce the exact same results. That's for me, it was really heavy because I feel like I was getting into a rut with my daily goals and my daily achievements, and I felt like I need to shake things up and move differently so I can produce differently. And hopefully I reap what I'll sow, and it'll be very tremendous prosperity. And that's it.
Love it. So today I have one by Brian Tracy. It's make your life a masterpiece. Imagine no limitations on what you can have or what you can do or who you can be.
And then I have one, and it's do what you can with all you have wherever you are. And basically just do the best that you can with what you have. Like the great thing about the stock market is you really can start with um, whatever you have and really grow it into something big. So just make the best of your situation.
Hi, good morning. My name is Twan. I have one. You have to lose something precious to gain something priceless.
Damn it, Quan, you be hitting, bro. That's the one right there. I love with that. Anybody else? Alrighty then. So let's get straight into it. I'm ready to talk about futures. They're green. No, for real. Let's get into it. So it was really interesting. I feel like, especially for me, the only reason why I use technical analysis and why it matters to me so much, is that it works, right? I draw these lines, I think about the trends, and lo and behold, these lines are sometimes validated or invalidated. So, oh no, I take it back. If you look at where we're at right now, and maybe I want to check to see if anything in the news has changed. So I saw the NASDAQ first thing I woke up, maybe about an hour or two ago. I woke up, I saw the NASDAQ up maybe about a half a percentage point. But if we look at where we're at right now, actually we're resting right along the bottom trend line. And I'm looking at the /NQ futures. So this is actually a little bit more serious than I thought it was. I was hoping that we were going to hold over the 50 moving average and kind of moves towards this resistance that we've been bouncing up against. We hit it yesterday, we hit it the day before, and we've been rejected constantly. However, we've also seen sort of a double bottom type of situation where we've touched 378 on SPY a couple of times, and it's the same thing for the NASDAQ, where we've kind of hit this lower bound on our futures chart around the 12,600 level twice. Once earlier in February and once, 3 days ago, right? So I'm taking that as a bullish sign. However, we have noted that we've been consolidating. We've been consolidating inside of the trend. And right now we sit right there on that line. We sit right there on that trend line. So my line is at 1,300. And here we sit at 1,329, 28. And I think going into the market, that will definitely be my decisive level. I mean, if we're going to break below that, once again, we do have this 12,600 level. But that's, a few percentage points down. I think that if we do have that, that'll be a tough day for everybody on the NASDAQ side. And with all things considered, I mean, Bitcoin futures are looking decent right now, right? She's up near 50,000, 51,000 the last time I checked. So let's go over to the S&P 500. Looking at the /ES futures, similar sort of situation. Now I've had ES sort of trading inside of a range as well, and that range goes from, I have like a little bit of a supply zone that ranges in the 38, 40 to 50 level. And on the upper side from the 39.20 to 30 level. And here we sit at 38.60, like right above my sort of demand zone. And we've gone underneath that demand zone and gone as far down as 3,700. So I once again could see that complete retracement without turning completely bearish, but underneath this level, honestly, for me, it is fairly shaky and also is completely invalidating our uptrend, right? If we continue to trade in range, that's a completely different style of trading than if we're going to be continuously uptrending and having higher highs and lower lows, or higher highs and higher lows as well, right? So it's just important to consider. However, if we do start trading in range for a little while, I guess I couldn't be against that. I find range trading to be one of the easier types. Whenever we hit our lower bound, you wait for a confirmation that there's going to be a bounce and you buy. As soon as you approach the upper bound, you sell. Right. So we might have some different styles of trading that are going to be more effective. Looking at what's going on here. Yeah, that is an interesting development. So right now, still the NASDAQ futures are down 0.2%, and the S&P 500s are down 0.06%, right? It's not like a crazy drop. However, it is concerning, and we are sitting yet again at fairly decisive levels, and we're sitting near the bottom of those decisive levels, which is important as well. If we hop on over to the Russell real quick, totally different story and a totally different thing. I mean, I've been talking a lot more about the 50-day moving average, and I'm going to continue to add more and more indicators in as we continue to do this because I do use a lot of indicators, or I reference a lot of them all the time. But I think incorporating them as we talk is it can be overwhelming and give a lot of mixed signals. And so we've been using the 200 as just like a key line of support above or below 200. Ultimately, will definitely give me long-term bullish or bearishness, or is something I'm very concerned about. But on a much smaller time scale, the 50, right? So many things are interacting with their 50-day moving averages, and using those for support. And if we look at where we're at on our NASDAQ futures or our S&P 500 futures, we're holding just below that 50-day moving average. Well, this is kind of a similar story with the Russell, where there's been a dance, and every day we're kind of coming below or above. Right now, we're about 2 points below our 50-day moving average, and continuing to drop down right now. However, yeah, Russell has been kind of consistently trading a little bit more up. This definitely has been completely respecting a range trade where we're trading between 2,200 and 2,300. We've been holding that fairly securely. I have higher lows coming in as well, which I'm liking to see. And we just got to remember that Russell represents a lot of small caps, right? Like, and in some of our energy plays, Plug is in the Russell index. A lot of our healthcare plays are in the Russell index. And watching that move contrary to like the Nasdaq or the S&P or the Dow, those are interesting things as well, just for me to note and understand that that's going on. Oh, snap. The 10-year Treasury bond is up today. It's up 2.9%. Well, everybody, I take it all back. I have to close. We're shutting it down. So we have our 10-year Treasury bond right now sitting at 1.45%, which is a 2%, almost a 3% jump from yesterday's close. I think that's important to note. And it's the same thing with the 5-year, also up 4%. And it sits at 7%. At 7% right now. So like, as we know, and as we watched last week, how the Treasury bonds did have an effect on the overall stock market. I think that this is something to be aware of and kind of to throw on your watch list. Throw it on a chart and just keep it up there. If we continue to see these Treasury bonds go higher, that could be something that would tell me to maybe just be careful in the market. Right? We now have another indicator that we can use. And then just coming over to crude oil futures, I know that there's a natural gas report and a crude oil report that's coming out today. I think around 10. I'll post it in the Discord when I get a chance. I know that they noted that we're going to see colder than average temperatures over the next 15 days. So we might see a little bit more of a supply shortage. I actually still expect the price to run up for a little while, especially on crude oil. We might also see that same volatility and directional trade on natural gas. But that's just dependent upon whether or not we're going to see the supplies continue to go down as people aren't drilling at the same level that they were, while demand goes up because of reopening trades. So depending on how these reports come out, I think that will be a big deal. Whoa. Now the 10-year Treasury bond is up to 3.4%. It's at 1.46 right now. And the activation level for being concerned is 1.5% on the 10-year Treasury bond. And I think it's 0.8 or 8% on the 0.8%, sorry, on the 5-year. So we are getting fairly close to that level currently to be concerned. Anybody else looking at Treasury bonds or or future indexes with me?
I literally got a tweet from it as you were talking about it going up, and that some people were like, look at the NAS, and then I refreshed and I just saw everything go to red, and I'm like, damn it. SPY was at 388 when I was last looking at it. Now it's 385, and the NAS is down half a percentage. It's interesting. We are going to be shutting it down. I think I may take a day off. The Treasury bond yields, like you said, if they keep going up, people are going to fear, and it's going to cause most things to go down.
I'm closing out some of my bullput spreads as soon as the market opens. I'm definitely taking a day off. I looked at the SPY and the chart yesterday, and I don't know how to read it like the Chinese either Japanese rice, but it just looked violent, like the downward. It looks like it's gonna spike downward to 370. So yeah, I'm gonna take the day off, not buying anything. I'm just gonna chill out for the rest of the day and let the market do its thing, and then try to come back later.
I mean, we made this room name before. I made this yesterday, kind of just thinking about whatever direction the market is going. Like, I am going to violently trade it. But God, yeah, watching the Treasury bonds. I mean, I think today, as with a lot of the days that haven't had very clear, like, we came in on Monday and we were a lot more confident in looking at the futures and looking at where we're at on the charts and saying, like, I think we might be in for a good week. Or at least a good day. And I'm with you off of looking at this. I'm just going to be taking a little bit of time as the market starts, that same 45, 15, 30 minutes. I mean, at least 20, but maybe 45 to an hour just to see where we settle and what direction we're going to end up going in. But I'm with you. If you look to the left on a lot of our charts right now, there's a ton of chop. There's a ton of support and resistance and a ton of invalidated or half-started trends that we're just not sure whether we're really going to overall downtrend or overall uptrend. However, we all have our activation levels, and that's what they're for, right? So if it breaks the range that you're looking at, and everything that we're looking at right now is at a support, I didn't see anything that wasn't, or maybe the Russell wasn't, right? But the Russell was holding just under the 50-day moving average, so I'm going to call that a support as well. And yeah, we want to see those things validated and confirmed as supports before we hop in. Oh, now the Russell's down too. Down 0.04% on the day. But the 5-year and the 10-year, they're not gapping up like crazy. I don't know. We'll just see how it progresses. Anybody else?
Yeah. So in my understanding, what I'm taking is like for last 2-3 days, and Alien, I've been very pragmatic, right? Like I've been putting into my hedges and everything. What I have done is I'm looking at 3790 and 3910, 3900 mark on S&P 500. Anything between that, right? Still, it does not break 3790. It's inside day. It's a complete inside day between that mark for me, 3790 to 3900. If it breaks 3790, I would ask you to take a shelter. Till then, it does not happen. It's a good time to understand your trades, understand what you're supposed to do, and buy as per your risk appetite. And make sure if you are playing any kind of options in this moment, don't let the premium decay. That's the main thing in an inside day. For last 3-4 days, the adjustment which we have made, and Elaine has discussed, I have discussed, Christopher has discussed, the adjustment has been to make it an inside day. It's not a normal bearish bullish day. It's a complete inside day. So in my understanding, the 3790 mark is critical. If it's broken, then I would call it a bearish day. Till then, for the first hour, I will just observe and then make my plays.
No, I love that level. I fully agree with that. I think that's our lower bound that we've definitely seen. I mean, I'm a little bit happy at a higher level, and I kind of have a support in between those two, but I'm with you. 3790 was, that last sort of, it was really 3786, but who cares, right? Like, yeah. That's our lower bound. So I'm totally with you. At least as long as we can hold that, I'm not going to turn it into a complete bear either. I totally agree with that, Shivam. And I don't want to be all doom and gloom, so I have a new segment instead of dumbass trades or trash trades that we're going to introduce called... Oh my God, it's just called Treat Yourself. So the thing is, on days like this, maybe some people are taking a little bit of a break from the market. I want to know, what are you going to do to treat yourself with what you've done, with what you've earned? It can't always be about how much money we're going to make. I want to know, hey, Christopher, what are you going to do with all those KNPH tendies that you just racked up, man? How are we going to treat ourselves today?
I'm actually spending a lot of time with family today. I mean, y'all know what's going on after I get off the call here. But basically, I'm gonna show my family my gains and then how I'm repositioning it into making a better position for myself. I do plan on taking a couple of more leaps on Fisker, 25 strike, and then after that, I plan on taking my mom out for dinner.
Oh, I fuck that. Yeah, you got to take the mom out for dinner, and you got to take her someplace that's ridiculous too, man. I'm with you on that. I love taking my mom out to dinner.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait.
Yo, Fly, you seem like a man who knows how to treat yourself. How are you treating yourself, man? How we celebrating these wins?
I'm gonna do a self-care day, get a massage, go out to dinner. I may go out of town this weekend, All-Star in Atlanta this weekend. So, Chris, if I come out there, I
I'm
definitely
not
let you know.
home, bro.
Oh,
I'm
you ain't
so
home?
sorry. No, I'm not home. Any other time
Okay.
you hit me up, I'm there.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing, Elaine.
No, I fuck with that too.
Can Marcus tell us what he's doing with that rocket mortgage gains yesterday? Like, oh my God. Oh my God,
Yeah.
bro.
I wanted to lay in the cut. Y'all had to bring me up.
Nah, you don't get away with that.
Yeah,
Come
you
talk to
definitely
us.
got the chicken dinner of the day, man. What are we doing?
Oh man, you know what? I actually took some of those games and I rolled them in to Strike Force a little bit, but I don't know. I'm just kind of chilling right now. Really, I have nothing planned out. I guess I never thought about treating myself. Any suggestions?
You don't need to plan anything out. I mean, congratulations, Marcus. I was like, damn, Marcus is somewhere making money, man.
Printing, and I wrote it all the way to 4050. And I want to call out Vanessa first of all for
Oh,
thanking me.
wow.
Vanessa texted me. Actually, I was busy at work on a call, and I think when I last saw it in the morning, it was like 30 something dollars. And I said, "Oh, okay, I'll come back in the afternoon and just close out," like I said from this morning. And then she said, "Hey, I forgot what she sent me a message," and I'm like, "Oh, I haven't looked at it." I looked at it, like, "Holy crap, let me get out of this," And I was going to do like a FOMO, like, well, maybe I should let it go. And I thought about Nokia and how I messed that up, and I said, let me just go ahead and take these gains, and I'm glad I did. So I do want to thank Vanessa for just kind of reinforcing, like, just to stick with the plan and discipline on that one.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Marcus, I believe the Lambo store takes Bitcoin now. So, go ahead and throw some of that into Bitcoin and just go ahead and treat yourself, man. I don't know. I think Lambo's set for the whole family. That's what you do after you hit a 2,000% random option call.
I know,
Like,
random as hell.
I mean, we saw it going up, but not 2,000 fucking percent. That was the shocker of the day for real. Finally, the hype beast chose a company that has some underlying fundamental reasons as to why they should be worth what they are. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I really like what I do when I want to treat myself is I just look up all the restaurants in town. I mean, I live in Los Angeles, so it's better than Minnesota. If you're in St. Paul, God forbid.
Oh, come on now.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I feel like, okay, you at least can get some like decent farm fresh stuff flown out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we're eating all farm fresh for the rest of the week. I only like to eat animals that like have a name and a backstory. I want to see pictures of people taking care of my broccoli and stuff like that as it grows up.
Cut it.
What? That's how you treat yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, when you eat good, you feel good, and you feel good, you perform well.
I like to go out to eat too, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like fancy restaurants, I like that.
All right. Anybody else have a dope treat yourself story? We'll keep on moving. I want to talk about Spy some more.
Real quick, I'm gonna go sunbathe and then I'm gonna go and have a little blackout where I sit in my closet with some music and then do some Tai Chi. And then that'll be pretty much it. Let's talk about Spy.
Oh my God. Where did we find you, Liv?
I'd just be out here,
Sunbathing.
All right. Okay.
I don't
Yes,
know. I'm not.
sunbathing.
I'm not really over a lane. Just casually dropping. Yeah, everything I eat, I need to know their names.
Hey Daniel, by the way, man, I've been thinking about doing an NFT channel. I want to make you a TA in that chat if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm with whatever.
All right, thanks.
Stockhouse NFT coming soon.
Coming soon.
Because it is coming soon. I'm about to start. Okay, well, we're not here to talk about that. Let's do a
I'm
refresh.
I'm
Welcome
so
to the
low
number
key
one
trying. I'm
pre-market
so
show
low
on
key trying to
Clubhouse,
get in.
presented by Stockhouse University. We are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. This is a conversation among friends that love stocks and want to improve our profitability by coming here every day and talking about the market, relevant news, and how we're going to use that information to profit. We think education should be accessible and affordable to everyone, so we have a completely free Discord that has tons of resources and over 1,600 amazing members at all different skill levels that are all talking about the market and trying to grow as well. We also have free classes on Sundays. We would love it if you would join the community and contribute, because together we are so much more powerful than we are individually. Invite your friends, invite your family. Let's all create opportunities for generational wealth.
S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, where all the old money stashed at. Bet you ain't no Square on Cash App. Stock, name an asset that could match.
Okay, I mean, also every single day I'm gonna give a shout out to Santino because boy, that song makes me happy. Let's talk about SPY. I'm just with everybody. So here we sit at 385. I feel like 378 was our lower bound, and I'm not going to be completely bearish until we break below that, to be honest. And we've held that level. We've held it a couple of times. Now, earlier in February, we did hit 368, right? But I would start to consider those complete retracements. And honestly, if we continue to go down that far, I will be bearish under 378. I'll be looking for puts. I'll be looking to see how much farther down we can go. On the upside, I definitely still was looking for and am still expecting at some point this 394 bounce personally. I'm really wondering what's going on in the news, and I'll kind of be doing that in the background as we go through today. Because for me, I see reopening. I see kind of nothing but positive potential catalyst for a lot of our companies in the direction of the world. And so although we have this short-term volatility, this isn't going to phase me. Right. But with that said, looking at SPY, yeah, sitting at 385, we closed at 386 yesterday. That doesn't make me feel confident at all. As we look at all of our futures looking red for the day, I mean, we definitely could be looking down. So if we hold, let's see here, what's my key level? I mean, it's right underneath us. So if we fall under 385.12, I definitely will be looking at least to play some more downside, down to 380, and then under that down to 378. And if we can hold above that, if we can stay at 386 and move towards that 390 bound, I could also go the other way, right? As soon as we hit 390, I'm looking through 392, 394, to 396, to be honest. But as we look through the past 2 days, there's just been a heavy consolidation pattern. And that range has been between 385 and 389. So once again, that really even more so gives me the conviction to say, I want to see us hold over certain levels, right? These short-term price movements, they mean nothing in the long range, in the long trend, and trying to understand a trend. And that's why a lot of people, we don't look at them at a minute chart to try to figure out what's going on, right? Every minute, even in a 5-minute chart, it really honestly will just confuse you and add a little bit more input than we need. But if we're going to go ahead and hold over 389, moving towards that 390 level, I could be excited. If we break underneath this 385.08, 385.12 level and hold underneath that for the day, I also will have, a more of a directional trade that I'm willing to trade in. But currently I'm just seeing this range that we're in between 385 and 389. And I'm wondering if we're going to break that or we're going to continue to consolidate, as consolidation has been the name of the game in the market. It feels as though we're all over the place, but I would just consider this volatility, to be honest. That doesn't give me an indication of one direction or the other. It is beautiful to see how we're interacting with the 50-day moving average and kind of holding above, holding below. There's also no established direction based off of that as well. However, we are holding right above the 200 currently, and I like that, right? So anything below the 200 does give me a little bit more of a bear sentiment, and I like seeing us hold over that. And once again, that 200 moving average is at the 385 level. So even more so, if we break below that, it will be a little bit more of an indicative thing for me to look for downside. Like I said, with every one of our future indices, we're sitting at support right now. So I do find this to be important, and once again, it does make me want to wait. But we're at 385.70, and 60 points on the SPY is not a small amount of space, although it'll happen in an hour. Who else is looking at SPY with me?
I'm sorry, Lane. Normally I am, but UMWC, which we've been talking about, is flying right now. I'm in the matrix. I'd like to see it hold over 385, and if not, I'm just not trading today at all. I'm sticking to my swing and probably just taking some profits today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so I
hoping
always
that
look
it.
into SPY. That's how I started, because one of my brokerage accounts is just for my long-term benefits, and the other is where I play my day or intraday. So one thing which I would like to say is when this kind of range is there, like 3790 to 3900, it's a broad range for SPY. But these are the ranges where if you look at a small cap, a mid cap, or even a large cap, every day there's a trend where 4 or 5 stocks which we all discuss about, or the broader community discuss about, are the ones that play that day. We started the Monday with Wayfair, if anyone remembers, and DraftKings. Then yesterday was about Rocket, right? And a part of UWMC was picking up. After hours, KMPH picked up. And today again, when you see the market, it's about the same kind of names: UWMC, KMPH, DraftKings. They are making the plays. So in the inside days, whenever there's an inside day, the tip is that always be ready with your due diligence, because the names, the selected names with a good thesis within these areas, the small cap, the mid cap, and the large cap, will pop up, right? So that's why diversification is so important, because when these kind of days happen, and they come a lot, we have not seen them coming, but they come a lot. Our plays, which are diversified plays, one of them is going to pop up that day, and it's going to provide you with a great lunch or a great farm cooked meal, and or a nice dinner.
Yo, T-Bob, you're killing it today, man. I 1,000% agree. I mean, and that's part of been why like our watch lists have been so successful in some ways. They're fairly diversified. And also they're companies that, we've been watching for a while that have both fundamental and technical potential setups. So I'm really with you on that. And just because we're having a small down day in the market, I mean, we've kind of noted that's the whole thing about this sector rotation, where it's like, yeah, sure, some of the sectors are down. Sometimes tech is down. However, when tech's been down, we've seen financials continue to ride through. When we look at these treasury bond yields, like that means that the financial sector is going to have a decent day, just by note, right? That's what they're holding.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, right. And so, I mean, even then, honestly, don't let me get some time in. I'll start trading bonds if we keep seeing fluctuations on prices at this level. But we don't need to get there yet. There still are plenty of companies that are looking really good. So speaking of sectors, real quick, I'll kind of just smash through it. The Russell is back up in the futures by 0.3%. So there we go, right? It's a range trading day for real, and we're seeing a lot of volatility on all sides. Looking at our energy sector, currently we're sort of doing a little bit of a high base movement, sitting at the $50 level. And for me personally, I'm wanting to see how the energy sector, if they're going to catch up to the movement that's been happening in oil and natural gas. So we might be able to see some upside on this depending on how we break out. Looking at our industrial sector, which has been just an enjoyable sector in general and really, really strong uptrend. We're seeing a little bit of a consolidation pattern currently between the 93 and 92 levels. I would call this definitely a range trade. And for me personally, I'm looking to see a break over 93 or underneath 92, I think would be the lower end. We have our 50-day moving average sitting at 91.25. So once again, I'm feeling the upward momentum in that sector. I'm feeling it as a reopen trade. And I'm noting that it has room to run from the all-time highs, which sit at 94. Looking at our financial sector, we're falling underneath the trend line, beneath the trend line and a 50-day moving average, which is not a bad thing at all. Once again, we're about, let's see here, 6 points off of our all-time high at 33.99. So financials has a decent amount of room to run as well, but it sits in the middle. We're not at a support. We're not at a resistance. If you're inside of this trade, which I've been holding on to XLF for weeks now and kind of trimming off, it's a different thing. But in terms of an entry point, I definitely could see a little bit of a pullback before I would be excited to enter. Our XLB material sector has had a completely on fire past couple of days. One, two, three. from a low at 73 4 days ago. Now we sit here at 76, 75.83. We closed yesterday. 75.65 is what we're at today. And I'm really into the materials sector. If you saw our 10-minute room yesterday, we sat here and talked about uranium. We talked about, sorry, uranium. We talked about steel. We talked about trading copper. I've been trading silver. Copper has been on our watch list a number of times in the past weeks. And I'm still really big on materials, especially as they relate to both storages of value and also our emerging energy technologies. And I think that out of a lot of the charts right now, this is the one that's sort of moving, and it moves slow. This isn't like tech, you know. You're not missing a breakout if you're looking at this today. Looking at XLK, our technology sector, so we saw a rejection from our 50-day moving average. We saw a rejection from the trend line in that ascending channel. I would have loved us to hop back into, and here we sit underneath, kind of making a new pattern. And that new pattern is trading inside of a range. And what do I have for that range? So let's see. On the high side, I have 135, and on the low side, I have 128. And I'm just looking at the XLK ETF, right? And this holds all of our favorite tech companies, Tesla included, Tesla, Apple, whatever, TSM, Applied Materials, all of that falls under the information technology ETF sector. And we're seeing all of those things trade in a range, which is important to note. Once again, range trading is totally different as opposed to things that are just constantly uptrending. I'll do two more because I kind of want to get to a decent level watch list for today. So looking at our consumer cyclicals, kind of a similar story where we've been trading inside of a range. Right now, we sit both under our 50-day and our 200-day moving average, but we're not even at the bottom level yet for our trend. So I have this trading between 159 and 172, basically. 173 was the high, where I would call this a failed breakout that we had about 3 weeks ago. And I think that as in terms of reopening trades, there's some really interesting things here. In terms of whether we're going to be looking at consumer discretionary, which is stuff like Nike, Peloton, or consumer like defensive, which is more like the Costco, Target, Walmart. I mean, I think we're having a decent earnings week right now, and hearing a lot of news about consumer defensive, the things that people have to buy, you know, as opposed to the things that people want to. But once again, this is a sector that's going to really turn around as soon as stimulus news comes in, and has a lot of names that we are all excited to trade. And then our communication services sector as well. I mean, just based off of the hype of Clubhouse, you know, just based off of the fact that Twitter is engaging in basically the same sort of Clubhouse thing. I was in a room yesterday talking about how they're going to start having paid clubs on Clubhouse. And some guy was like, I'm going to have the first paid club. Right. So adding this monetization factor to what already is turning into a very influential social media app is just incorporating so many of the things that we want to see in the future that we want to be in. Although maybe not everybody's bullish on any particular social media company, I do think that this sector is going to be a little bit more important as we move into the future, because influencer is a real job. Social media, there's no business on this planet right now. Well, that's not true. But to have a business and not consider a social media campaign is kind of crazy at this point, right? To not consider something with an influencer is kind of crazy at this point because of the amount of access. So when I look at the communication sector, but specifically the social media aspect to it, I'm very bullish. When I look at, once again, the communication sector, but the 5G aspect to it, I'm fairly bullish. When I look at the communication sector and think about the broadband access via like satellites, I'm once again very bullish. So there's just a number of reasons why I'm looking at communications and saying, you know, this is not a chart that I trade a lot, to be honest. It's not my thing. But how it dances off of the 50-day moving average has been really nice. We haven't come close to the 200 since last November. And every time we fell underneath the 200, I've seen a strong bounce and return to a high position over the 50. So this might be something I'm going to look into in the future. It definitely is going to be part of a rotation trade that I'm going to start to get in as I move out of the energy sector and out of materials at some point. But I'm not sure when that point's going to be. But yeah, all of our sectors are really looking very interesting today. Let's talk about some news. Who has news? Who's looking at stuff? Let's get into it before we do our watch list.
I have some OCGN news. They are releasing their phase 3 trial efficacy, and it's 81%. And I am happy because once this is spread, people will be, getting excited. Oh, it's 81%. It was higher than J&J, XYZ. And next thing you know, people are anticipating for FDA approval. Stock price just keeps going up, and my bank account just keeps getting much more bigger. Oh, I can't wait. It just excites me.
Yeah, OCGN has been on a lot of people's watch list for a while. I'm into that too.
Yeah, I'll just not give the name. I'll not give the news because Christopher has covered them. I'll just give the stock name ticker, KMPH, killing it. UWMC killing it. DraftKings killing it. I'm happy. I can be happy today. So just these three are the names which are killing it. The news, you all guys know what are the news affiliated to all three of them. And hopefully sometime soon, Fubo will start killing it because Fubo is bringing out its own sports book. But yeah, those who are not in Fubo, do the due diligence. It could be a good trade for long term.
I've got one. All right. So, Chinese chip maker SMIC says it's ordered $1.2 billion in equipment from ASML. So I'm watching both of those for the chip shortage. Also, Dish Network, DraftKings Sportsbook, and daily fantasy apps are integrated into Dish TV's platform. So, absolutely looking into DraftKings. I'm gonna look into Dish as some sympathy there because they're the first person to integrate it into their TV platform.
That's interesting. See, when I think about the sports gambling thing, I mean, I've come up here and talked about Fubo for a number of days, right? It's been on the watch list. I'm with you, Shivam. My question is, I mean, as somebody who's been trading this since last year sometime, at what point are we like buying the news? Everybody in the know has known that Fubo is going to be incorporating sports betting into their API for months now. Right. And on top of that, we still do have some legislative hurdles, I believe, in terms of rolling that out in all of the states. But we have seen a run. I do think it's sitting at a lower bound. I am really excited about the DraftKings news. Thank God for Dave Portnoy and all the people who continue to kind of hype it as social media influencers, sort of in the economic space. But I don't know. At least with plays like this, like I said, we are way off the high, so there is a ton of upside before we get to a place where I'm very concerned. But yeah, it's just there's the hype under this company has been. Like there's been a ton of hype, and it was all based off of the integration of gambling into a sports viewing, sports streaming package. So I'm excited for it to run along with the sector. We've seen DraftKings have a great day yesterday. I have no indication that they won't unless the overall market just goes complete blood red, which it's not so far. And so, yeah, I'm just curious, with a lot of these things, I know people like the trade of I'm holding long and it's sort of a forever hold. But at the same time, I'm a really big fan of reallocating, taking the profits and sort of moving into things that have more growth potential in the short to midterm. But you're sort of a longer term investor, so I'm gonna stop overthinking it. Just I really do want to talk more about how we expect the cycle of this uptrend to go. And the comparison is the medical marijuana industry, where it's like, yes, obviously we're bullish, but also we've seen some fairly large runs on every single side of it. And then we've also seen a cool off, right? So it's like something where, yeah, you can hold long on this and know that the overall direction is up based on your fundamental analysis. But in terms of playing the wave and not trying to fight with it, the run happened. We're kind of seeing a cool off, and I want to enter in at the next run at a good position. So I'm wondering where we're at with that in the Fubo cycle as well.
Right. So I think the biggest part which comes into picture, and yesterday, if Christopher, you remember, I tweeted about Digital Turbine, right? It's the same mentality. I got in Fubo at $8 or $10, right? When it reached 52, I trimmed some of my profits. Not like for me, entire position is 7 to 8% minimum of my portfolio, so I just trimmed a bit, maybe 10% or 9% of my entire position, and then I relocated that money to something else. Somehow Fubo dropped to 32. I'm not in a mood to sell any of my leaps or move any of my stocks. I feel that $50 range without sports bet is a comfortable range for Fubo to play as its own business as of now. On top of it, when things like the sports book get integrated, the sports betting get integrated into the streaming platform, that's where it takes off from the 50 range to somewhere around the 80s or 90s. So that's why, in my opinion, Fubo is just in a starting stage. It's right now having a challenge which it's facing from the streaming services as well. So it's facing that competition. Once it gets into sports betting, it's going to be playing with 3 4 players on the sports betting side. But in that entire situation, it becomes the unique proposition that you can play and watch at the same time. So that's something which is going to attract a lot of customers, and that is going to continue bringing their subscription package up. There are a lot of UK-based, betting agencies which are able to provide that, like Sky Bet and everything, and that is a big attractive proposition to a lot of customers, where they're able to get some kind of exclusive rates, discounted subscriptions of being able to play and bet at the same platform. So that's my go forward for it, and that's why I always do one thing. Whenever it reaches 40 or 50, that's my price target for a set duration. I cut a small position and I reallocate that money into something which is emerging. Like for example, when I cut Fubo at 50, I reallocated to UWMC. At that time, UWMC was $10, so I was in loss till now. But today, UWMC is going to go up, so I'm going to make some money over there. So it's all about rotating the money, but don't rotate the entirety of it, because what will happen is you will start to have those agonizing thoughts that, hey, I cut the entire position on Etsy at 150 and now it's 220. Shit, I shouldn't have done that. I should have stuck with it. That kind of stuff. So just
No,
play very
I,
calculative.
I agree with you, and I think just for the longer range, and we have to keep moving because I'm so down. We can do it the deepest of deep dives. I came in here so bullish on Fubo. I'm with you. Like they're hitting their revenue. They're hitting their subscriber growth. It's consistent for the industry as like on the upside of both of those things. And just in the long term, though, I just like what if Disney just decides to add sports betting? Right? What if any of the larger companies that already have the infrastructure to integrate a lot of this stuff continue to do it? What if Netflix does it? What if, there's so much competition on this side, and I don't know if first to market really has any impact with something like this on a long enough basis, right? But I'm with you. I'm very bullish on the company. I'm currently holding calls as we speak, so I'm just adding the other side to it because I think I have to be the contrarian voice.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's very important to do that.
Can I state one more piece of news for you, Elaine, before we move on? I know we got 10 minutes left,
Yeah, we
but
got to hit that watch list up.
you've been talking about Roku for a while. How about Key Blanc upgrades to overweight from the sector weight? The price target is now 518. So I'm looking at taking a long position there.
Interesting. I mean, video streaming is the sector. I'm excited for the sector as a whole, and that goes right back to our communications. Who's going to benefit from that? All of us will. The social media side will. Everybody who does streaming and provides access to these things will. I'm just with you guys. That this is a sector we're going to be talking about this a lot as we continue to move on, and I wonder what is going to be the Apple of streaming and the Apple of sports betting. Just that name that we associate when we say sports betting, it's going to mean one thing. In 5 years, we will see a winner out of this. I would assume. With that said, I think we got to get straight to our watch list because I don't want to run out of time today. So, let's see here. Okay. I just like to do these like little music drops in the middle of things. So for me, I just don't know where I'm gonna live right now. So I was looking at PayPal earlier. I really do like where it's at on the chart. For me, I could take an entry at 273 if we can hold at this level and look towards 280 and have a stop loss at the 269 level. I'm really all over. I'm not sure where I'm going to live today, depending on what sector's up, but PayPal's definitely on my watch list, and that's what I'm looking at. Liv, what do you got for us?
Well, for me, I have Caesar because of you. I feel as though I should, respect our watch list a little bit more by actually playing what we discuss. Other than that, I'm just looking at SPY to see what it's going to do today to set myself up for tomorrow. I like to buy calls or puts either halfway through the day or 10 minutes before market closes. So I'll be looking at that. And then lastly for Rocket, just because I loaded so many puts on it that I want to see what it does at open. Right now, it looks like it can't decide if it wants to be at 37 or 36. If it falls, I will sell my entire position. If it goes up a little bit, I'll trim half and wait for the next leg down. And that's pretty much it for me.
You know, they added up to 64 on their options chain, and we know what that means.
Here we go, round two.
You know
Nah, I
what
don't
that
know.
means.
I
It
mean,
means they
I'm
think
glad
it
to
could
play it the other
happen.
way. I'm
That's all.
glad to play it the other way. Like I play both sides. So if it's gonna go up, hey, I'll buy some calls too. What shit? Put me on the rocket too. I want to go to the moon.
With a name like that, it's hard to deny. Christopher, what are you looking at for the day, man?
Um, okay, so I'm gonna go back to one of my gifts that keep on giving, and I kind of tweeted it out earlier today, but there's a double bottom on the 4 hour chart on IDEX. I'm taking some options out at open. I wanna see this reverse. I'm gonna take the $4 strike through 319. And it's really way too close for the way I like to play. But I'm really convinced that this is the gift that keeps on giving, and it should have stayed around $5 last time before it reversed. And so, like I said, that 4 hour chart shows me a double bottom on IDEX. I'm gonna take it and ride it a 4.
Yeah, it's on you, Twan.
All right. On my watch list for today is Clean Spark, ticker symbol CLSK. Entry is $30.02. It passed that in the pre-market already. Price target is $38 to $40, and the stop and the exit will be 25.20. They just secure additional Bitcoin miners. It's pretty good company. I left a lot of DD in the Discord, so y'all check it out.
Yo, I love the Clean Spark choice. I want to throw in another one just because, but I'm really a fan. And also, if you guys look at what happened yesterday, Clean Spark defied the market and actually was one of the things that continued to uptrend even in a whatever, on a red day. So that's sort of important as well. In that same vein of thought, I'm looking at the 9 Limited, which is ticker NCTY. And they actually just bought on a new CEO. We saw a little bit of a downtick based off of that news, and we're wondering about the integration. But where it is on the chart right now, for me, it's at a decent place for risk versus reward. I would love to enter in around 56, looking for 60, and then it's because there's a gap that needed to be filled basically between 56 and 60. But conservatively looking at 69 as a price target and 50 as a stop loss. So I'm really into it. And sorry, it's also a blockchain kind of minor crypto related play. Shivam, what are you looking at for the day?
So one of my plays is Palantir, PLTR. It's been a long time sitting over there. I have got a position, but I'm going to add some 1 year, 2 year leaps to it at very close to in the money. So it's a good price to get into it. And I'm going to add some more long-term leaps into Apple. One conservative, one aggressive move. I think that should be good for the day.
Damn it. I don't know why yo, Vanessa. I don't know. I feel like you were gonna say PLTR today. So there it is. I can't believe I skipped you. Like you were the first person on the list, and I just like let that go. Anyway,
Cool.
yeah, I know it happens.
I
Vanessa
think
was
it's a good play.
hitting me up at like 4 a.m. to talk about how PLTR was on Wall Street bets and that the social media sentiment is that it's time for it to go. So I'm into it for a number of reasons. Great pick, both of you. Daniel, you have anything you're looking at?
I'm looking at cutting a couple losses just so I can start making some more moves. I feel like I kind of sat out a lot of February and just watched my account like drop with like Apple shit. Yeah, I just need some more capital to move around because I feel like all February I just kind of watched things that I would have played and they worked out really great, and it just had me like, man, this sucks, like, for the most time. But I'm still new into the market, so I feel like I kind of needed that. I kind of needed to have like a longer period where I was kind of just sitting on my hands and like just watching how shit was working. But yeah, February sucked for me. So I'm trying to get back to it and get back to making some moves, because fuck this.
Yeah, Marcus, go on ahead, man. You're a big hitter now.
No, no, no. I'm laughing at Daniel. I like how he's kind of summed it up because I had a similar February. It's like 50-50.
Bro, that's how it's been. I'm
God,
telling
yeah. I mean,
you.
I'm like, dang, y'all doing what? And I'm just like, okay, like what the hell? I For me, like they mentioned Strike Force. I got into that with some of the profits from yesterday. Palantir, I'm still watching that. I may take a position on that. And you know the other one, this makes no sense, but I've been watching Clove just to see if we'll ever find a bottom. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, but just to, I guess a sympathy rebound is what I'm looking for, and it still has not found that bottom yet. So Clove is another one. I'm just looking for a magic bottom.
Absolutely. Fahim, good morning, man. Anything you're looking at for the day? It's like what, 2 a.m. in Dubai right now? 3:30?
Yes, yeah, 6:30 p.m. Nothing, but the short company, was it the guys who put out the short reports? They're supposed to be putting something out this week. So just, was it Heisenberg or something like that? So just keep an eye out
Really?
for that.
I
Yeah,
thought
they
that
said
they
some.
retired.
No, I think Friday they said they're gonna be coming out with a report this week. So still haven't seen anything, but if you guys just keep an eye on that for some of these high risk ones. For anything that looks a little suspicious that's running for no reason that you might have in your portfolio, just FYI.
Love that. Good morning, Shannon. Welcome to the stage. Did you have anything you wanted to kind of say or throw on our watch list? Go for it. You have a minute.
Hi. I actually don't. I had a question, more or less. I have 5 kids, and the oldest, the oldest is not old. He's too old to be under me as a custodial account. But the younger ones, they're the age of 17, 15, 14, 13, and 10. So I was wondering, I've set up an account for each of them for TD Ameritrade because I'm starting a brokerage account for all of them. And I'm just wondering, what long-term stocks would you guys be looking at for, I wouldn't even so much say teenagers, just for beginners, someone that's starting out, that's just wanting the portfolio to just go long-term, because that's what I'm planning for them. So if y'all have any stocks that y'all have any opinions that are really, really good to do a long-term, because they're going to invest every month. They work, and most of them work, but they're investing every month. So I was just wondering if you guys know of any long-term stocks that would be good for, up-and-coming beginners.
So
Yeah, I can add to that.
I want to, I don't, okay. But at the same time, actually, I don't think that none of us are financial advisors, and we shouldn't be giving financial advice like that. And I think that that definitely counts as it. Coming and hanging out and just hearing what we talk about in the room every day, I think is a great direction to give you things to look at. And honestly, the first step, I think you guys should do some due diligence together. Look at companies that they actually enjoy, that they find value in. So many young people are into Roblox, right? So Roblox has been a thing that people have talked about. But do the due diligence. How much money do they make? What's their long-term, what is their guidance for their company? And I think it should just be based on your own fundamental analysis. And also, you're going to be around us and many other communities on Clubhouse that will give you stocks that we all think have good long-term turnouts. But I just don't want everybody to give you 7 stocks that they think are going to be here in 40 years, or just give you the biggest stocks because we believe that because of their market cap, they're going to be here, right? Everybody will say something like an Apple, and I think that's a great choice. However, it should be based off of your own thoughts and your own due diligence, and not really a bunch of people on Clubhouse, in my opinion. You have 30 seconds, Fahim. What were you going to say?
Yeah, so basically, I had the same situation with my kids about a year ago, and I asked them what positions they like. So they mentioned stuff like McDonald's, Nike, Netflix, Amazon, right? These are just things that they know about. But so last year, like I just I let them pick whatever they wanted, and everybody did pretty well last year, so they did pretty well. So this year, I asked them if the economy turns around, if the virus is gone, what do you like? So, not necessarily giving stock advice in the sense of stocks to select, but have them think through the different economic scenarios and then what fits their own thesis. So you just ask them the questions, and because they'll have a different risk tolerance than you, for example. Like my son, he doubled down on Zoom when it was like $90. I would not have thought of doubling down, but he did. Even then, he doubled down again at 200. Right? I mean, just ask them, and they'll decide. Right? Let them kind of think through this.
Your son is an eternal bull. That's crazy. I like it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. But also, you're totally welcome to come up on stage and grill us about the stocks that we talk about. I do like the question. It's just definitely not something that's going to have an easy 1 second answer. And with that, I actually just want to get ready for the day. We're a little bit over time, but it's okay. I think that was a great question, and I welcome everybody to hop up on stage and ask questions. That's what this is sort of about, sharing information. So let's do it. The market is a gift for me that keeps on giving. I'm able to continuously rebalance my account to have cash on hand when I need it. I take profits and reallocate into better positions. I will take care of myself by using my profits to treat myself. I'm happy to be in the market. I'm thankful and grateful for my stock trading community, which includes everybody on stage and everybody in the audience and everybody who's not here today. I am ready and prepared to have a profitable and prosperous day in the market, regardless of market direction. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's have a great trading day.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Shannon, DM me. I might got something for you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.